Welcome back. In this video, we're going to go over how to find additional plugins and install them to expand the possibilities of your effects processor. So I'm going to take you first to the web browser and go to KX Studio. So remember KX Studio, this is the same repository that we used to install Carla. But in addition to that, there's also a lot of plugins that are in that repository. So that's really helpful. So go to repositories, plugins in repository, click on that. And these are all plugins that you can actually download directly through the application download or program download or whatever that is now built into your Pi. So some of these things like XenAdd sub effects, that's a synthesizer. But let me take a look through some of these here. So like here's an EQ, so that could be a useful thing. There's the Envato Studio plugins. Those are very useful ones too. So all you got to do is actually just go in and do a search for some of these. So like if you search for the package name, usually that is helpful right there. So I'm going to go over here to preferences, add remove software. I need to look at that here. Yeah. Okay, and as you can see, that's already installed. If you search that for the first time, this will be unchecked, and that box looking thing there is going to be closed and not open. So all you do is you click on it and click apply, and you install it just like you did SuperLooper and Carla and QJactyl and everything. So you can go through this whole list of plugins and just install them that way, and it's really useful. I'll tell you, like just looking at the screen right here right now, this amp modeler is actually really useful because you can go online and find modeling files that people have created already and load those into that modeler. And so that gives you a whole lot of options for effects and for AI modeling of amplifiers and effects and speaker cabinets and all sorts of things. But yeah, go through that and you can find a lot of different plugins to start installing and trying out in Carla. But I wanted to show you the patch bay and the rack with a few different plugins running on it there. Some of these will only have a Carla edit window like that. Some of them will show up with a custom UI. Just know that sometimes if you click on that custom UI, it just won't work. So like this Alembic one, it doesn't work on there. But I know for a fact that like this compressor right here, if I open that up, that'll show, give you a visual feedback of the audio coming in and the compression and everything, just like any other compressor plugin would. But some of these, like I think the Auto Wah, no, that one's got a custom one. Let's see, Drop, I think. A lot of these are showing there. So the Big Muff one, it only shows edit. It doesn't show custom user interface. So, but even like the Auto Wah, if I click on that, nothing opens up right there. But if you go to edit, Then you can go to parameters, and this is like the standard Carla window to edit parameters and things for the effect. And it gives you everything the other one does. It's just not as flashy looking. I like to have things set up so I can just plug it in and go without ever having to look at the screen. And one thing that helps with that is to have a few scripts that are put in onto the Pi that tell it to open up QJactyl, Superlooper, and Carla into a saved state every time the computer boots up. So the way you do that is you open up your file browser here, go to config. These are hidden files, by the way. So if you don't see them there, right click on some white space here and select show hidden, because if I take that away, see, it just looks like that. So you want to make sure that you're looking at your hidden files. This .config folder right here, inside of that, there's another folder that's called Auto Start. And in there, this is where you keep these text files that have commands during startup, like that the computer will run when you're starting it up. To make these, you want to go to accessories and text editor right here. This is, it's just written out in text editor. I'll show you the one for Carla here, and there we go. So you need all of this stuff in here. So the desktop entry, that it's an application, the name of the application, and then executable. So that means that you're executing Carla, you're telling it to run this. This right here is where I keep my initial setup for my effects for Carla. So this executable, it means open up the program and then open up this file. So it's the same as if you were to click on Carla right here, and then after it boots up, go to open, and then documents, Carla, there's my initial setup, and I've got a couple of them that I've made. This is the one that I've been using lately. So, and to get that, that's the path. So you can look at the path right here, of course. That's it up there. You can also right click on that, and actually I can't do it right here. You have to go into your files again here, and documents, Carla, and then if you right click on that, and then you can copy path. So once that path is copied, then you can go back over here to your auto start file, and I'm not going to keep this in there, but I forgot I'm on Linux, not on Mac. So you paste that in right there, and there's my my path to that. That's the same as what was up here. So I'm going to tell it don't save it because that's not what I want. Other ones in here. So here's my QJactyl settings right there, and that's with Superlooper and MIDI running to everything. Superlooper settings. There's my Superlooper settings for that. So if we look again into config, that's that hidden folder, right? And then auto start, Superlooper. I'm going to open that up in text editor here. And actually that just opens up Superlooper GUI. That's the execution text for Superlooper. So that one, you want it to look like that. The QJactyl one, that's what that's going to look like right there. With those set up, now every time I plug in my Pi, it'll boot up to this. It'll open up QJactyl and start it running, it will also open up Superlooper, and it'll open up Carla, and in this state right here rather than with a blank patch bay. Another important thing to do for auto start to work is in QJACTL you need to go to setup and then go to miscellaneous here and check start Jack auto server on application startup. So that way it'll automatically start the Jack server. You can save your configuration files to there and everything. I think these are all things that are automatically checked from the get-go. Another thing that I've done right here is that I have this checked, activate patch bay persistence. And so this is a setting for the MIDI routing that I've made. So that would be, I think that's under patch bay. Let's take a look here. Yeah. So for the MIDI patching, I've just connected, and it says soft step to Superlooper right there like that. But really that it's not even a soft step that I have plugged in right now, but it just recognizes that as being the MIDI pedal board that's plugged in. So I connect that to Superlooper right here. And then when you make the changes, this save button will be clickable. And then you can save that setting so that every time QJACTL opens up, it automatically connects that MIDI input straight to Superlooper. And you don't have to make any MIDI connections up here, because notice there's no MIDI connections input on Superlooper in Carla. So instead of making that connection from the pedal board here to there, I'm making the connection in QJACTL in the patch bay going over there. And it, again, once you've made the connection here in your patch bay, then you can under setup options activate patch bay persistence, and that patch that you've created and then saved, you just point it right here to that XML file, and it'll always be connected to Superlooper or whatever you've made connections to in there. One more item that is helpful for making this a standalone effects processor is to enable screen sharing and to have it set up to do that. First little bit is always the same. You go up here and you just turn on, like right now it's on, so it says off, but you'll click on turn on Raspberry Pi Connect, check allow screen sharing. I have allow remote shell access, but that has to do with text editing and stuff, so that might not be necessary. And then you sign in, and by doing that, then you end up signing in through the Raspberry Pi website. And then when you go to connect.raspberry-pi to that site, you'll be able to screen share from this computer, from the Pi, without having to have like a screen and a keyboard and a mouse all connected to it. So that's for using Pi Connect. You can also, and I like doing this because I find it really helpful. I've gone in here and created a wireless hotspot. So if you go in there and you create one, you can see right here that I have one called pedal board. So every time this Pi starts up, it starts up its own wireless network, its own hotspot that I can then connect to with my iPad or laptop or whatever, and then I use Real VNC. It's their viewer application, and it allows you to connect to the Pi and do this screen sharing without having a network connection, because technically you have one. It's created by the Pi itself, but you're connecting directly to the Pi instead of going through the internet. If you have any questions about any of this stuff, I'm always happy and willing to help out. So yeah, enjoy.